getting enough votes to be admitted to the union, but a Republican-led effort, a right-led effort to do the correct thing. Your history, you actually own the history on the environment. Really? Come on, guys. Easy one to figure out. Easy one. Conserve the land. It's in the name conservatism. But it's also in the actions and what has happened over the decades. Which states have been more responsible to, for, and about the environment, including the state represented by a current Democrat senator who pretends to be independent, West Virginia, and Joe Manchin. Or vice versa, Joe Manchin and West Virginia. They had horrible days of children in mines. They cleaned it up. They helped heavily, by the way. West Virginians helped significantly in advancing the idea of recapture. The coal-producing states, primarily right-leaning states, in spite of some of the leadership we've seen in them, but right-leaning states in the population and the business development, help the environment. Why? Because they needed it to function correctly. Agricultural areas, many of them, if not most, even in California, go out to Fresno. Ignore the park downtown that's turned into a shite hole because of, liberal stupidity. Oh, yeah, it's sad. Go out around Fresno, California. Go to the Central Valley.
It comes usually
go north.
I think they use.
Look at the people. Look at the industries that are there. Why do they need the environment to function? Because they need the environment to live. Come on, Republicans. I'm not making this that hard.
So how do you know it's coming to
world peace?
I don't.
Yeah, we had the neocon.
When I ordered it, it said it'd be there.
And we got nation building. It ain't perfect.
It would go to your email.
Right, so it
But for
says,
the most
I got
part,
this yesterday,
you have
we're
the better
processing your
approach,
order,
the peace through strength,
and we'll email you
a
when it ships
balanced
out.
approach, a sliding scale of diplomacy, recognizing and dealing with our enemies instead of getting money from them like the Biden family does. And the Democrats. And some Republicans. And elitists. I don't know. They need a strategist. I almost want the job. 866-95-PATRIOT, 957-2874. Beth in Georgia. Let's start there.
Well, David, if you made that decision to get the job, I'll vote for you.
I'm talking about advisor and strategist. I ain't taking the job.
All right, so listen, David, I just want to push back a little bit with your interview with the DeSantis representative. First of all, candidate speaking platitudes is as old as time. And I'll be honest with you, just from a realistic, pragmatic state of mind, I'm okay with that to an extent, and I will explain to you why. What I look for in a person, I want somebody that has insight, wisdom, logic, and reason. Those are the things that when you get elected and everything goes, you know what? Because the thing that you never expected to happen happens. Those are the things that will give a person the stamina and the direction to pull through despite the plan being blown up. And from my standpoint, I think DeSantis is that person. Now, I'm probably the only person listening to you because I listen all the time who is, a DeSantis supporter.
I think it's hard to see.
Like everybody that listens,
It's a mixed bag. It is a mixed bag in this audience. You may get a predominance of callers on one side a day or dependent on topic, but I would say that this is a broad spectrum audience, more than some other shows.
Well, I appreciate that.
Almost as good as my cotton
plans. Sort of a bias every time I hear someone. Now, honestly, I voted for Trump twice. And his, in 2016, the reason I voted for Trump was because in August or September of that year, Hillary Clinton called me a deplorable. And it is at that point, it was like, you know what? I don't want to be in the country that she's leading. And that's when I got and made the decision to vote for Trump. I was not sold on Trump. But the representative did give you two specifics, which I think is important to
A ton
recognize.
of people are
First of
sold
all,
on
getting rid of
Trump. I'm
Christopher
not
Wray,
sold
who
on him.
Trump
That
appointed.
may be the only choice. I'm
Who
not
Trump
sold on any of
appointed.
them.
Getting rid of him is a realistic, legitimate step. The other thing that he said that you kind of walked right over, and DeSantis has made this, he said it several times in several interviews, breaking up the D.C. bubble, getting offices out of D.C. into the states. I think that is one of the, and I don't know that I've heard anybody else say that. I've heard people speaking platitudes like Trump, get rid of the deep state. But the way that's done in realistic, pragmatic steps is you get the people out of the bubble.
Well, no, Trump did some of that too while he was in the White House. The EPA, others. Now it wasn't successful, but he did talk about it, and not just talk. There were efforts within examining how to move agencies around. Look, they all. And by the way, your point about platitudes is spot on. That's been going on since politics has been around running societies. Its root doesn't start with the existence of America 200 and whatever. Where are we? 248. I gotta keep my 248. You know, I kind of count ahead of like doing the Korean count years ago. Yeah, no, I get that.
We're to see
Where we
two-story
are
houses.
today, and not so much about you and me. All right, I would say, speaking for the audience, and the audience can tell me that, or otherwise, that the majority of people in this audience pay attention and get the intellect behind it. Just like the discussion I had with James about the, slavery and benefits of slavery issue, and while they're sniping at each other, they're ignoring the intellectual honesty of what happened, how things actually played out, which I went into in detail in my Juneteenth special with our guests. The point being that today where we are, we have to get beyond the platitudes, because the fix is not really a big secret. Maybe people on the list are. It's fair, right? If you tell them who you're bringing, they gonna find a way to go after them. Just ask Judge Kavanaugh. But we've got to have that conversation, not for you and me in this audience, but for the other people out there. I don't need to preach to the choir. If all I do is preach to the choir, well, it's a rousing, rousing celebration. But when the service is over and you go out the door, the people that walk by on the street didn't hear a damn thing going on in the building. So,
Well,
stop.
and I think we have a lot of that. I mean, to be honest, it's a imperfect world, and that everybody in the world was conservative. There are a lot of people out there who are not going to listen, and their ears are closed. And there's a verse in the Bible that says, "Professing to be wise, they became fools." And I think that is abundant right now. But
In politics, go where you're not welcome and stay there as often as you can.
your comments about Liberty City, spot on, right on. I agree 100%, and I hope that Ron DeSantis will take up your offer.
I can find every candidate a place to go. Vivek Ramaswamy's from Ohio. I would say go to Akron. I would say go to some areas of Cleveland. I would take on education in Columbus, just to give them a couple of ideas. Who else is there? Let's see. Nikki Haley's in South Carolina. She'd have to get outside of Columbia. Let me think. Where else? My point is, I could find something even in their home states where they can go and make that point, or to other states. Like I said, Trump. I think Trump should go to Michigan, for example. North of Detroit, outside of Detroit, areas like Romeo, Michigan, places where union workers and people who voted a lot for him, go see them. Don't go to 7 Mile. Just call that a day. Don't go to 7 Mile. But you get my point. Go to these places. Go to St. Louis. Don't go to the Arch District or the stadium. Go to some of the areas in St. Louis. Go to South County. Hey, who's got the balls to go to Ferguson? Because they're going to come out and bring it back. But take West Florissant. It's a nice wide street. There's lots of buildings on the sides. Lots of parking lots on the sides. You can put a huge rally there. Beth, thanks for the call. Whatever. Thank you, Beth. All right, I got to go by time. Brian in Alabama. Go ahead,
Oh my
Brian.
God, it's so awesome to hear you go off.
And no coffee required. But anyway, go ahead.
No, I'm in agreement with you. You know, we have the history to use against
Oh, Jack
them,
working hard.
but the Republican message just sucks. They're just horrible. But you know, and from your interview with the campaign manager, I'm kind of thinking DeSantis is not coming. He sounded like he avoided
If you can't deal with a talk show host, then I don't care who you are as a candidate. This isn't a slam against DeSantis, but in general, if you can't handle a talk show host or somebody who's against you in an interview, and I'm not against them, I'm just saying, if you can't do that and you want to be president of the United States, get out of the race. I don't care who you are. I don't care who anyone supports. If your candidate can't face down the opposition in free speech, then I gotta ask the question, what are they gonna do when they face a real enemy?
Right. And you know, Connery Ray, I mean, big wolf, you know, he deserves to be fired. But I'd like to hear somebody like Trump go, you know, if when I get to Washington, just plan on the fact that the unemployment rate is going to go sky high. So if I can fire you, I will fire you. And if you have a security clearance, you better hope you've done nothing wrong, because I'm going to revoke your
These houses doesn't
security
seem like
clearance.
there's anywhere people won't
And
buy a
anybody
house.
outside of government
You
that's
just
not working
plug
for the
down a
government
house and
anymore,
people buy it.
you're more than likely going to lose your security clearance. It just and go
Yeah,
to
this isn't
and get rid of the
bad location.
Department of
Shallow water.
Education, the EPA, move all these things back to the states
And
where
now
they
that we
belong.
figured out that if you go
And,
to 84, you can get to the.
But anyway, I mean,
guess
And the
north
reason
side of
you
the
need a
town.
team of your own to do this, and in some ways, draw a lesson from Trump in his administration, a team of rivals. But the team of rivals were not people who necessarily hated each other or disliked each other. They knew how it worked. You put a Wilbur
Buy one
Ross
of
and a
those
Gary
lots,
Cohn,
yeah.
Larry Kudlow and a Gary Cohn. You put a Lighthizer, who's a very good ambassador in my estimation. Then, of course, you make a bad deal with Mitch and you get,
20 years.
Elaine Chao. Arguably, she was one scintilla smarter than Pete Buttigieg.
well, sort of, yeah. I mean, everybody talks about the China issue with Joe, but I think the bigger issue is Mount Mitch. I mean, he's married into the Communist Party.
Well, it's more complex with his family, but I'd be a little more concerned lately with Speaker McCarthy and the influences behind him. Mitch ain't got no power, and McCarthy's supposed to have some as the majority leader. All right, listen, Alabama, stand tall. Okay, they say that. All right, brother, I'll talk to you soon. 37, 40. All right, quick break. Let me give you the order of things. Brady, Arizona. I'm going to keep going by time. Jim, California. Brady, Jim, Bill, New Jersey, and Reed. Reed. Okay, somebody else is coming on. There were Jeff, Tennessee. Got him there too. All right, let's be right back.
SiriusXM takes you on a summer getaway to Milan with Italy's own Skin. Performing their biggest songs from the legendary San Siro Stadium. Your local sensation on the Skin
do some
captured
stuff.
live in Milan.
I think we can catch those
Pointing that way.
south. That's going south.
Exclusively on All Nation Channel 36 or wherever you
I think we do this.
Just search on the Skin. This is
guess we gotta get on 84 because I should have done that. I think I remember when we did this to go see that sound.
That was a pleasant surprise.
You can't get everything 179. So you were supposed to turn right there at the freeway.
With everything you have on your plate, starting your degree on arts, music, but a grant planning university, we specialize in helping you with your master's degree in education in New York City. Graduation team, led by our Olton Sandhills,
your outspoken talk is fantastic. And I think whoever runs against Biden, I think one issue that I think could really give the opponent to Biden strength is indicating how strongly Biden and his cronies have pushed trans surgeries for youth. They call it, health care for children. Well, it's nothing but butchery. And I think that indicates the moral depravity of this administration, which moral depravity leads to bad decisions.
Well, I did say there was a job.
And I
We're going toward. We're
think
going
about the the guys competing
We're going
in
towards
girls' sports.
Petersburg.
I suspect that would be
We're going
winner.
away from
Yeah.
Olton.
And, Glenn Youngkin, parental rights was a huge deal in the election in Virginia. And
Well, I
Glenn
thought so,
Youngkin
too.
really focused on that, and he won very well. And he got the woman's vote based on. And I think whoever runs against Biden, I think if they focus,
Say,
maybe not only on those, so many
Olton,
issues,
Texas.
but that issue in itself, just talk to the Bud Light executives, and see what they say. So,
try again.
See here. Here's 179.
179.
Here's Petersburg.
Yeah.
And here's Olton.
Person running against
Well, but
Joe
it does
Biden,
show
Olton, Texas.
I would stand on a stage and thank
But-
God
but
for
it does
digital
show that we're going
technology
this
today.
way.
You can project
Sorry,
things
I
and
can't
move on to
control
the
that
next,
in
or
my
you
And
can
then
car.
back.
have
Okay.
placards printed. Democrats are really good at that. They're like union strikes, right? They always come out there.
Because that says Littlefield. I think that sign said Littlefield. And that other small town that starts with an O. No, I agree 100%. This seems really weird, but it does look like it goes a little jog. I guess that's an electric fence, and you see the little line there. Please say 179.
Convention Center. That's where.
All I know is I don't want to miss that fine Lions breakfast, that's for sure.
Service that goes in here. Probably have somewhere else too.
What is a town of 1800? What happened to David Webb?
Mulvaney, for every Republican that wants to use that example, we can talk about the $27 billion loss for Bud Light, the market cap shifts, the facts that Coors Light or, Coors Brewing is now number one. No, simplify it. Dylan Mulvaney is a gay man mocking women, pretending to be a woman now in his 500th day of womanhood. If you're for that, Joe Biden's your guy. Simplify it.
And I agree. I think simplifying it, but being in
People
that
on the
space
Bud Light, not very many of them.
say they're still trying to
A new
determine
town?
the extent
Or
of
the
the
town we had
problem.
never been.
Jason
Oh,
Walker
yeah, I was
reporting.
gonna say, I
It's a
don't think
sign
it's-
Russia's war in Ukraine may not be going so well for the Kremlin after all.
Russia's currency, the ruble, tumbled against the U.S. dollar in Friday trading in Moscow, falling to its lowest level since the first month of the war in Ukraine. The decline to 95 rubles against the dollar continued the Russian currency's consistent fall since the start of the year, when it traded at around 65. Russia initially sent troops into Ukraine in late February of last year. The ruble plunged to as low as 120 against the dollar. Rich
that's
Thomason reporting.
More of these stories at townhall.com.
Totally new ball, huh? That's
You take
funky.
the time to really get to know your body, you find that the root causes of its aches and pains are usually simple. The older we get, the more exercise we undertake, and the more injuries we sustain, the more inflammation our bodies suffer from. It's so simple. And my answer to that pain is Relief Factor, which I discovered years ago and take every single day to great effect. It helps the body to fight off inflammation, and I've never found anything that worked better in my life. I can't recommend it enough. 70% of the more than 500,000 people who have tried Relief Factor end up ordering more. That's because it works for them the way it works for me. Isn't it time for you to get out of pain? Your first step to becoming pain-free should be to order the 3-week quick start for the discounted price of only $19.95. Go to relieffactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF to find out more about this offer. Feel the difference. relieffactor.com.
NASA's Voyager 2 spacecraft is back in contact.
Flight controllers corrected a mistake that had led to weeks of silence. Hurtling ever deep into interstellar space billions of miles away, Voyager 2 stopped communicating 2 weeks ago. That's because controllers sent the wrong command to the 46-year-old spacecraft and tilted its antenna away from Earth. NASA's Deep Space Network sent a new command in hopes of repointing the antenna. The long shot paid off. On Friday, the spacecraft started returning data again. Voyager 2 was launched in
morning
1977,
on,
followed 2 weeks later by its twin Voyager.
that morning show, Fox
Keith Peters
News.
reporting.
They were
Starkville
equating
where losing week for Wall Street
Putin
following
putting that guy in
the
jail.
U.S. job market, and two of the market's
For his
most
political
influential stocks, the
advertising.
S&P 500 sank 0.5%
Biden
Friday,
putting
its fourth straight
seems
month,
that way.
setting a 16-month low. Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com.
Exclusive reporting.
job was to deal with this guy, Victor Shokening, stop him from pursuing and blocking the business interests of Mr. Zolchevsky and Burisma. And I think that's exactly what Devin Archer talks about. He talks about Hunter Biden being under pressure. How important is it that those two things sync with some of the same facts and storylines, even though I'm sure the informant and Devin Archer never met each other?
Yeah, it's crucial because it's incorporating what is in the 1023 from this confidential human source speaking to life that, you know, I mean, they're genuine tragedies. He did
Yeah.
lose
That's right.
his first wife and his daughter in a car crash at the beginning of his Senate career. He did lose his eldest son and the apple of his eye through a brain tumor. Those are tragic, and no one would take that away from him. But he has cynically used them in a political manner, and you cannot look at the way he uses those. Whenever he's in trouble, he brings this up, and his proxies like Dangles and bring these up. That's irrelevant to the fact that Joe Biden was on the phone to the very oligarchs, the corrupt Ukrainians, the corrupt Chinese, the corrupt other people around the world, on the speakerphone, being introduced by Hunter. It wasn't just some random, you know, Hunter just happened to hit the speakerphone while he was having a private conversation with his father and Joe didn't know. Joe was introduced. Joe knew exactly who these people
counteroffensive, which eventually got to people like Eric Charmella, the whistleblower, and others. But in the beginning, it was the media carrying the water. And the media was literally writing stories contradicting their own previous story. The New York Times was concerned about Joe Biden and Hunter Biden in 2015 before they became unconcerned. It's just remarkable to watch what our colleagues in our industry have done. They've done blindness. And I have a very powerful memory. Do you remember when Don Jr. met one time with a Russian? There were weeks, and Donald Trump didn't meet. That was just Don Jr. Weeks and weeks of scandal coverage and breaking news. And now they want the same news media. They want you on at 20 plus contacts between Joe Biden and business partners. It really is shameful.
Yeah, it's shocking. And do you have any insight into why they flipped in 2019? I mean, clearly it's something to do with Donald Trump, but why would they sell out their journalistic credibility?
Listen, for the first couple of weeks after I wrote my stories in March and April, I wrote maybe 4 stories that included the interview with the successor to Shokin, who, by the way, said that he had concerns that Hunter Biden wasn't paying his taxes in America. Boy, that turned out to be true, even though I got pilloried for it, right? The New York Times, ABC News did original stories confirming my reporting that they had found the same thing. And then they flipped around within a few weeks. I think the foil of Rudy Giuliani, that Giuliani got involved in, was asking questions about my stories and overseas, gave these media organizations the opportunity to flip this around and say, oh, it's not about Hunter Biden anymore. It's the fact that Rudy and Donald Trump are talking about it. Really not great journalism. They should have stayed on the trail. They should have vetted Joe Biden so that today, in 2023, we're not finding out everything Joe Biden told us in 2020 was a lie, right? His family did get China money. He did meet with the business partners. His son did do something wrong, contrary to what he said. He's about to plead guilty to tax evasion. It feels like the media, much like Bill Clinton in 1992, when they would look at the Whitewater scandal after he was president, they did the same thing all over again, which is they protected a guy, and now they're trying to explain why they didn't give us the truth. Kind of a bad dynamic for the American public, I think.
Turn left onto Main Street.
Bad dynamic for the whole world. I mean, we're now in this proxy war with Russia over Ukraine, and you just have to wonder how much of this corruption and this money changing hands and the compromise of Joe Biden, because everything points to that he performed a quid pro quo to get rid of that Victor Shokin, and so that's very damaging to him.
Point one.
Take the second left onto Main
And
Street.
what compromises are there with China that we don't even know about? And if the media and if the DOJ and the FBI had done their job as they should have many years ago, and
Take the next left onto Avenue G.
the country and the world would not be in this state now.
Yeah, it is right.
Continue on Avenue G for half a mile.
False narrative that we were fed. Now, you've put hundreds of pieces into this very important puzzle, all of your great work over the last 3-4 years. What are the next puzzle pieces? What are the next pieces of evidence and facts that you think Congress and investigators need to go get so that the American people get a complete puzzle? They know everything they need to know before Joe Biden's back on the ballot in 2024.
Well, they should really be trying to track down this Burisma owner Zlochevsky, who has said, the confidential business source has said that Zlochevsky has 17 recordings, 2 with Joe Biden and 15 with Hunter Biden, that presumably he was holding on to as kind of insurance.
Right.
So, I mean, I would imagine, that would be the number one, if I was an investigator, that would be the number one thing I would want to try and track down. I mean, they have the
1,000
ability
feet, turn left onto 8th
find
Street.
out where Zlochevsky is and go and get those, ask for those recordings if they exist and if they haven't been destroyed. And then, following the money, I think, is really important, and they need to be aware of all the pitfalls and the ins and outs of money laundering. So I hope they have, proper expertise on that front. And then there are other whistleblowers coming forward, as you know, and particularly, I think they need to put real pressure on the likes of Eric Schwerin and Rob Walker, whose former business partners Hunter, and Eric Schwerin in particular knows where.
Take the next left onto 8th Street, then your destination will be on the left.
Returns for Hunter, and
He's got the books.
he was also advising Joe Biden. He was also managing accounts that were shared between Joe and Hunter Biden. Now he's refused to cooperate.
Well, I don't know, you got
he's
2 hours till the
anyway.
parade.
So I think they
So
really
that's where the
need to
breakfast
use,
is
because
gonna be.
Congress has
Okay,
a lot
so
of
I'm
powers
gonna
that are
park
not
right
very
here.
used. But the January 6th committee showed how brutal
In 300
it can get.
feet,
You
turn
have,
left onto 9th Street.
people in the Trump orbit who are now facing jail for, contempt of Congress for not answering a subpoena. So I think that there's not a lot of time left between now and the 24 election. I think that Comer needs to go hardball after the August recess and really get these people in to testify under oath.
Yeah, compel testimony.